I thought that it would be useful for me to describe what the hell I've been going through the past couple months. I joked on JP Metz about how bad 2011 was, so to be more specific. Alright, this is how it started. In October, around the middle of October, I got Bell's palsy. If you don't know what that is, like most people don't, why would you know that? It's when half of your face gets, like, paralyzed. It was actually the 4th time in my life that I ever got Bell's palsy. The first time I was like 2 years old or 3 years old. So at the time don't get me wrong, it was distressing and annoying, but I didn't really think too much of it. It just came and went. It lasted less than 2 weeks and then it cleared up. And then around Halloween, that was actually kind of a rough time because we did have a death in the family and it really sucked. And it was actually when I went to the funeral, when we were walking back to the car, I realized that, wow, it was actually really hard for me to walk. And actually I was really wobbly. My balance was bad, so I was like this, and I was like, I can't walk, and it sucked. Yeah, that really sucked. But, oh no, trust me, it gets worse. That was only the beginning. It actually got to a point that I couldn't walk. And I couldn't stand for too long, so I couldn't take a shower. So I went on steroids. And actually, I hate steroids because I don't know, I just don't, my body or whatever just doesn't like them. I get really anxious when I'm on steroids. So this time around, along with the steroids, I also had a prescription for Xanax. So I was on steroids, I was on Xanax, and around that time I started to feel like I seriously went crazy. I felt like overnight I became truly a basket case because I couldn't control my emotions. If I got slightly or mildly sad about something, I would sob uncontrollably. If I was happy about something, I would be like, wah, wah! Like I was just all over the place and I was erratic. And I actually didn't think too much of that because, like I said, I was on steroids and Xanax, so I was on like all these drugs. And when I completed the steroids, those feelings actually persisted. But otherwise I was doing great. I responded extremely well to the steroids. I could walk again, I could stand again, I wasn't wobbling like I was. Granted, I can't stand as long as I could before the relapse or walk as far or as quickly, but I was like 90% better. So I actually decided to work. I used to work at the store. I worked there for like 5+ years, and I wanted to work there during the holidays to help out. And that was tough because, don't get me wrong, I wasn't like pushing boulders at work, but it was retail, so I was standing and doing mild lifting, and it was actually a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. Seems like a great idea when I was in steroids, but now that it was over and I was at work and I don't know. It was rough physically. I actually recall a day. I was leaving work and I walked to the bus stop, which was on the other end of the mall. By the time I got to the bus stop, I just needed to sit so bad. My legs were shaking. It was pouring rain and there was no place to sit in the mall, like where you can see the bus stop. So I went outside because there were benches there, again, in the pouring rain, and I just didn't care that it was pouring, and I just sat down anyway, just letting myself get completely soaked because I needed to sit that bad. So I had been working for about 2 weeks, and then I started noticing that my vision was blurry. I thought, wow, I should take out these damn contacts that I've been wearing for way too long. So I took them out, had my contacts in, my vision was still, well, it was blurry, but I started to realize that actually what was happening was I was seeing double vision. And my family noticed that my eyes were kind of crossed, but the double vision was resolved if I closed an eye. And it didn't matter which eye I closed. One day, I woke up, I had work that day, and I noticed my vision looked like a kaleidoscope. Double vision was so bad, but again, it was better if I kept an eye closed. So I got ready for work with one eye closed, left and got on the bus with one eye closed. And then while I was sitting there on my way to the mall, I thought, what am I doing? I seriously cannot be expecting myself to be going to work right now. I should actually be freaking out. This is not normal. So I actually got to the mall, but then I had to call my boss and tell her that I'm not coming in today. Remember, it's December. She was extremely busy, and I feel actually really bad about that. It was Friday, and I called my doctor's office, my neurologist, and they said to come in on Monday. Figuring that this is probably an MS thing, and I knew I was having trouble standing and everything, I decided to stopped working there for the holidays. So over the weekend, oh God, that weekend was really bad because my emotions were just out of control. I was also, I don't mean to be TMI Tammy, but I was having problems with my bladder. And when I saw the neurologist, we decided to do the steroids again. I mean, I had just finished them like 2 weeks ago. Both times I did the oral steroids with a taper down, so I mean, I was on steroids for like another 3 weeks. It was also during that first week that I was on steroids the second time that I started taking Avonex, which I never took before, and I was also dealing with really bad flu-like symptoms. That was rough, but again, the steroids worked. My double vision, completely gone. The bladder problems I was having, done. Also, when I saw my neurologist that second time, we were talking about my emotions, and she actually thinks I have something called pseudo-bulbar effect. Pseudo-bulbar effect is usually associated with people that just randomly start crying or randomly start laughing. But in the earlier stages of the disease, it's actually usually misdiagnosed as like depression or bipolar disorder or something. But because of the location of my lesions, my neurologist was able to say, you know, I think this might be, you know, the early stages of something, so we can like address it now and hopefully it won't get worse. So I've been taking an antidepressant for that, and I mean, I don't know, I feel a lot better. So even though those last 3 months were extremely difficult, now I'm honestly, like, I'm just really glad that I rebounded from it. You know, when you have MS, it's always a concern. Whenever you have a relapse, you always think in the back of your head, what if I don't bounce back this time? What if I'll always have residual problems that I gotta deal with? But no, I mean, it really cleared up. I'm so grateful. And just like, even to be able to stand and take a shower, to be able to walk to the store, just to be able to do those basic things is like unbelievable. I actually feel like in some ways having MS has made me a happier and in general more grateful person, because I mean, how many times do you stand and take a shower and think, wow, I am so happy I can stand? So the next time you take a shower, stand there and think, holy crap, I'm standing and it's awesome. I also have a really supportive group of friends that, you know, even though those 3 months I wasn't really around and I was kind of miserable the whole time, they don't hate me. They were there for me. My family really helped me out a lot, so I'm just, you know, I'm really lucky. I know that this is outside of my normal internet persona, but I had to put that out there, especially since, you know, it's New Year's Eve. I'm going to be going out. I'm going to be partying, and I'm just so grateful that I can do that. This is like the corniest vlog that I ever made. I don't even care, because I'm just so grateful. Alright, this is so corny, I'm starting to make myself sick, so I'll end this vlog again. Well, have a happy new year. Bye.